Italy's most scandalous pasta dish. An easy, quick pasta packed with delicious Mediterranean ingredients. Today on Piatto, we'll share the colorful history of this pasta dish and show you how to make a spaghetti puttanesca to perfection. The earliest reference to this dish we now call puttanesca comes in Ippolito Cavalcanti's famous 19th century Italian cooking manual, where it was called vermicelli all'olio with olives, capers and anchovy sauce. Practically speaking, the ingredients in this early recipe forms the basis of the classic puttanesca of Italy today. Let's start with the olives. Traditionally, the dish these days calls for Gaeta olives. Kalamata makes an excellent substitute if you can find Gaeta. They're very similar. We have 3 ounces, about 80 grams for 4 portions of pasta. It's very important to rinse off the salt or vinegar from both the olives and the capers before adding them to this dish. Better yet, soak these ingredients in water for about 30 minutes, so to remove the excess of salt coming from olives and capers. We just coarsely chop most of the olives. We've left a few intact for decoration at the end. So we have our olives and capers ready. Next up, the anchovies, garlic and pepper that will be used to make a sofrito that will form the sauce base. A sofrito is just a little sauté where we infuse our olive oil with some flavors, in this case anchovies, garlic and pepper. So 2 cloves of garlic minced. This is a very quick dish, ready in the time it takes to cook the pasta. By the way, we have already put the pasta on to boil. Like the original recipe, we're using vermicelli, which is very similar to spaghetti, which you can use instead if you can find vermicelli. And now we mince 1 fresh red chili pepper for the sofrito as well. Don't touch yourself with your hands, because this pepper will make you pay. And yes, we choose a very spicy one. We want this dish to be spicy, very spicy. This stew is done. Let's start making the sofrito. Olive oil, more or less to cover the pan. I would say about 4 tablespoons for this particular pan. As soon as this oil is hot, we add our garlic and chili and then the anchovies, which will dissolve into the oil, literally. While this is cooking, I'll tell you the rest of the puttanesca story. We leap forward in the 1930s when the Gastronomic Guide of Italy lists a dish called macaroni alla marinara, marinara macaroni, which essentially is the puttanesca as we know today. What is the difference from the Cavalcanti's vermicelli? Tomato, an ingredient that had spread in Italy starting from Naples in the 19th century.
Che profumino.
And so it goes our tomato. Fresh or whole peeled tomato from a can. The important thing is to crush the tomato until it is a pulpy sauce like this. Italians usually crush whole peeled tomatoes rather than buying crushed tomatoes in a can because it makes a sweeter sauce. So how did the puttanesca get its name? Well, first of all, we call this a scandalous dish because puttanesca means whorish in Italian, no joke. Now we add the capers and olives. The truth is that the reason this pasta is called puttanesca is unknown, just like for carbonara. However, some theories and legends say the name was coined in the early 19th by the owner of a brothel in the Spanish quarters of Naples. Either it was a dish used to refresh clients in the brothel, or the colorful ingredients, the green, the red, the purple, were meant to symbolize the colorful underwear of the working ladies. Anyway, if you have a theory about the name of this dish, let us know in the comments. We are almost done cooking this sauce, so it's time to taste for salt. It's perfect. It was a good idea, that we remove the excess salt from the olives and capers, otherwise we couldn't have this homogeneous level of saltiness. The pasta is almost ready. We'll finish it in here with this beautiful sauce.
La salsina bella che abbiamo fatto, così si conoscono per bene. La nostra puttanesca, questa pasta dal nome bizzarro, pittoresco.
The pasta is cooked just short of al dente. Now we'll finish it for a minute or two in the pan together with the sauce, so they can get to know one another better. A half a ladle of hot pasta water, and we finish cooking this pasta to al dente. This is a heavy pan, but we can still make a few jumps with the pasta. We finish it with a sprinkle of fresh parsley, which adds a pop of grain to our dish. All of the lovely colors characteristic of Italy, but also perhaps the colors of the enticing lingerie in these scandalous establishments. This is ready.
Okay, that's a beautiful smoke.
One more theory about the name. It was perhaps inspired by that beautiful young lady named Yvette the French that gave the name to the dish with a sense of pride of her profession and not without a bit of self-deprecating humor. Did you remember that we had left some olives aside? Now we add them for garnish, along with a couple of capers, the rest of the parsley. After all, these are the main ingredients of the dish, so we have to show them properly. Our masterpiece dish is served and we are ready to taste it. Why don't you have the first bite? Try it, it's fantastic. But now, before it gets cold. And here, our vermicelli with olives, capers and anchovies. A dish as old as the world, but always new to your palate. Don't forget to subscribe to Piatto, click on the bell and let us know in the comments how do you make your puttanesca.